Alright, here we are again with another playtest, a live playtest of version 2, you might notice on there. We have had a bunch of playtesting of the Fields of Fate solo play enemy activation system, so you can play without an opponent. If you haven't seen the other videos explaining what this is, then I highly recommend you do that. But we have done an update, or I've done an update, because we found some issues with the random nature. This is one of the updated sheets because it says free cities, because we are playing an Empire game today against my Beastmen. Should be able to show off some shooting this time around. But the main thing that we found is that in the old ones, you would have wizards and hero checks that sort of slowed things down just slightly. For instance, this is the AI player's turn. So the AI is, you're rolling on this chart to see what randomly happens. And it'll say up on the wizard chart, attempt 1 dispel or 1 randomized spell, attempt 1 dispel, attempt 2 dispels, or a combination. And basically what I've found is that if you're playing, especially 5th edition, but any edition, and it's the AI player's turn and you've rolled on a random chart for the wizard, they've got 2 spells which they can attempt, then you've got to do the Winds of Magic cards, then you've got to divvy them out, play it, then you've got to attempt the spell, then the player has to try and dispel them or whatever they're going to do. There's a lot of dice rolling and cards and stuff just to get off these spells. So to streamline that, we've changed that to, a wizard successfully casts 1 spell, successfully casts 2 spells, or gets a miscast, or whatever it may be. And so that way you roll the dice, the wizard gets a spell or 2 spells, whatever it might be, and you just go immediately to trying to dispel it or whatever with your wizard instead of doing all these other rolls and power cards and whatnot. Same for the hero chart. There was a couple which was like automatically rally a fleeing unit within 12 inches. That used to be attempt to rally a fleeing unit 12 inches from the general, which meant more dice rolling after dice rolling. So we've streamlined it a little bit. So hopefully it flows a little bit better, especially once you had like larger armies. We had a 6,000 point game, which had lots of wizards and lots of heroes to be rolling on the charts, and especially if they're not doing anything automatically. So we streamlined it. So we've tested it out. It seems to be working. So let's see if we can record a game and it all goes well. Beastmen are back. Minotaurs. The list hasn't changed pretty much at all. There's a Shaman, 3 Minotaurs, Gauls, a Beastman Chieftain, no upgrades, and the Chaos Hounds. And over on the other side, Empire this time, we have Handgunners, level 1 Wizard, with a whole bunch of battle magic behind her, because I'm just going to randomly draw a battle magic card every time she manages to get a spell off. The Empire General is here in the shadows on his horse with his standard and his mace. Great cannon. Those look like High Elf Spearmen. They're actually Empire Spearmen with some borrowed light armor and shields. And over here we have 10 more handgunners, so there should be plenty more shooting. So I have done the roll-off, and the Empire has got the first turn. Deployment is done, so let's see what the Empire can do with their first turn according to the charts. Quick game's a good game, so let's get into it. The army orders once more brothers, which is plus D6 movement to charters for the whole army, and that's going to be an extra 4 inches for all the movement, so good for maneuver. Not sure that they're going to want to get any closer to the Beastmen, but anyway. Hero chart, we'll start with the General, who is over there, and we will roll up. What's he going to get? 3. Snap to it, issue an immediate movement order to a unit within 12 inches. Do I want immediate movement order? I may as well get those Spearmen up, I guess. So, those Spearmen are going to move just like regular old eager beavers. All right, so that was the General. He has used his hero chart order. So what about the Wizard? She's a hero as well, and she also gets to move a unit immediately within 12 inches of her, and might be sneaky here. Move a unit within 12 inches of her, well, that would be the General, and he wants to get up into combat, and he might actually, I might get him to join this unit of Spearmen. I know he's on his horse, but why don't I get him to join in this unit, help them out with their defense a little bit. Now they were a little bit more substantial, I think. A little bit more scary for the beastmen. All right, those are the characters. Wizard chart time. So, time for the wizard to actually roll for magic stuff. And she gets successfully cast 1 dispel or 1 randomized spell. So, successfully cast. We don't have to roll for all that sort of nonsense with total powers and stuff like that. But we do need to do a Winds of Magic for me and my dispels because it is 5th edition. So 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 8 cards aside, but I only really need to take 4 for my end. And I've got 2 power and I've got an escape card in that, which none of those are dispel cards, which is unfortunate. And I will randomly choose a magic for her to cast, and it's move unit. So use this spell, wizard lifts himself or a friendly unit he is with into the air where they can magically transport across the field. The unit he is with to move 18 inches in any direction he chooses. Unfortunately, not with a combat unit, this wizard, but you know, I suppose I can move closer to where the wizard might do some damage. So why don't we move the wizard over to the middle here where they can do some damage. I didn't have any dispels anyway. So that takes care of the magic phase. And I'm going to keep a power for my shaman because I might want to get off that cloud of flies spells, I reckon. All right, movement charts. Now, as I discussed in the previous video and in the rule book itself, the Fields of Fate book itself, all of these movement chart rolls, the unit may roll the movement chart, okay? So each unit non-combat may roll. So if you have a unit of handgunners or a great cannon that you really don't think thematically would move, then you don't really need to move them. Although, I think those handgunners might be out of range. So I might move those handgunners in the distance, see if they feel like coming up a little bit closer. We'll order the unit facing the nearest objective or enemy, and they're sort of already facing the dots. So they didn't get a move order. They are staunchly happy where they are. And you can see there where it's like the AI sort of, you know, takes over from you making all those decisions for it and keeps it random. Because if I was in charge, I might have moved them forward, but I am not the AI player. So now let's see how the shooting phase will work, which we skipped in the last couple of videos because it was chaos on chaos. So we are going to start with this handgunner unit here, rolling on the attack chart, and attack a key target, general, battle standard bearer, wizard, monster, champion, and down the list in that order. So someone in range, but focus on aiming at a key target. So they are in range of the Minotaurs, and they are not in range of the Shaman, which would have been a good target. So they're going to default back to the Minotaurs. They're not all in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots in range. It's over half. They haven't moved, so that is going to be 5s for the handgunners. They have 2 hits at strength 4, the Minotaurs toughness 4, so they're going to need 4s. That is 1 wound, and it is -1, so the Minotaurs get no save, and 3 wounds goes down to 2 on one of the Minotaurs. Now, we might skip over to these handgunners because I don't know that they're going to be in range anyway, but I'll roll and see what they get. They are going to attempt to shoot at the weakest unit closest to them, which would be the dogs anyway. So let's see, and they're out of range of the dogs. So no fire from that unit there. They decided not to move forward, and that leaves us with the Great Cannon, which I'm thinking, now that I am thinking about it, I think you're supposed to shoot the Great Cannon first in 5th edition because pre-measuring and all that stuff, but I will fire the Great Cannon, and I will guess that I'm going to go at the gore unit in front of it, maybe 18 inches. Why not? 18 inches. For the first bounce, is here. Okay, not bad. It's right there. Where's this artillery dice? I mean, misfire dice. 10. Ooh, that is going to be a close one. That has bounced straight over the gauze and landed right behind them. And just for giggles, it misfired and planted straight where it was. So that was not a fantastic shooting phase. And that means no combat. It is over to the Beastmen. So let's do this human player wise. So the Minotaurs do not like getting shot at. So they are going to advance. They need to do a wheel, unfortunately, which means they can't really do a march order properly. So 6 inches this way. This guy's going to go the shaman, see if he can get in range of using his spell. Gauls are not going to do much all the way back here, so marching. And the Chaos Hounds definitely going to march, maybe sneak around the back, get us a cannon. No shooting, no combat, so straight to the magic phase. So let's sort that up and 8 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We got some power this time. All right, Cloud of Flies has a range of 12. Oh, I'm not gonna make it. And everyone's out of range. No Cloud of Flies for me, but I might keep this Dispel for the future. All right, over to the AI's turn. Empire turn 2, and I would have liked to have been a bit closer. So let's see how we go. Fields of Fate activation shoots. The army is on plus d6 movement and charges. This could be good for those spearmen. 2 inches extra. That could be a decisive factor. All right. The hero, the general, is now with those spearmen, and he gets a 5, and it says, stand with us. Select one unit within 12 inches and replace d6 wounds. That is going to be very handy, but in a later stage of the game, when you're fighting the AI player and his heroes start reviving, bringing back extra enemies, it's always fun. Snap to it, issue an immediate movement order within 12 inches. This is the one. And the wizard has moved closer to those spearmen with the general in the unit. So this could prove very decisive. They have an extra 2 inch to their move, making them movement 4 into a movement 6. And this is an additional order outside of their movement phase. So this might just give them, I still don't think they're quite within 8-inch charge range, but they have +2 for the whole turn because of what they rolled. So that could be a game changer, as they say. Here comes the wizard phase. She is over here doing her thing. Let's see on the wizard chart. She gets a 2, which is successfully cast 1 spell. That's where she's going to get another movement 1 out of this draw, but we'll give it a shuffle. And she is going to pull Destruction. Spell can be directed against any unit up to 18 inches from the wizard. The target is assailed by rain of blows, crushing and beating them. The unit suffers d6 strength for hits. All right, she is obviously going to cast them on the Gauls, being that they are the biggest threat. It's in range. I am going to have to try my Dispel with my shaman, and I need a 4, 5 or 6, so same level wizard, both level 1s, and I do not get it. So that is an Empire Battle Wizard with 2d6. Oh, that's all right. Only 3 strength 4 hits. It's going to be forced to wound. 2 wounds, which is 1 dead Gaul. Okay, that was not as bad as it could have been. Okay. 1 wound on a Minotaur and 1 dead Gore is casualties that we can deal with. But that is only the magic phase. By the way, if you're wondering why, in the AI player's turn it says successfully cast or successfully dispel, that's for those endless spells, the ones that last. And in case I cast something cool like a firewall, they can dispel it. So now we go into movement. I don't think those handgunners want to roll on the chart. The Great Cannon certainly doesn't. at the moment. It's got a shot at the Minotaurs, actually. Handgunners don't, but these spearmen might like to charge these gauls. And let's see if they do or not. It's all random. 5. And of course, 5 is charge. Charge towards the nearest enemy unit with an extra 2 inches to the 8 inches. That is a 10-inch charge range, which is exactly what they needed. In they go. Gauls caught napping, and not every day you see an Empire army charging spearmen a unit of Gauls. Interesting. All right, movement. I will move the wizard, I think. She is over there. Might be able to get into a better position, and she is move charge towards the nearest enemy plus D6. That could be a mistake. So I think the nearest enemy is the dogs. It certainly is. And actually, she's got +2. And because she rolled a 6, she got plus D6 to her charge roll. So she just added another 2. So 8 plus 4 is a 12-inch charge. And they are exactly get on. All right. Well, you can see how random the game turns out with a random spearman charging and now a wizard charging across the field at a bunch of Chaos Hounds. She might do it. She level 1 wizard. Don't underestimate him. All right, let's do the shooting phase and we'll roll on the attack charts for the handgunners. Okay, starting at this side, number 4, they will attack the weakest unit in range, and again, simply because of the lookouts rule, that saves the shaman. But we are all in range of the Minotaurs, so they are going to fire. You might be wondering, like, why roll on these random charts when it's like, the handgunners want to shoot at the Minotaurs? Because random stuff, like spearmen charging across the board and wizards charging Chaos Hounds, you cannot prepare for that as the human player, so it keeps things very interesting. All right, handgunners are going to open fire. They're still over half range. Firing our 10 shots, and we need to get 5s. We need to. They need to. Technically, the AI is the enemy in this one. The bad guys. That is 3 hits. Strength 4, toughness 4. You need force 2 wounds. That is a cock dice. 2 wounds, no armor save. We have lost a Minotaur. And starting to be a little bit worried about how many of my beastmen are going to get across the board in this particular game. All right, oh no, let's do the handguns on this side. Oh, we can't do the handguns this side because there's no more targets because the dogs are actually in combat with a freaking level 1 wizard, and the spearmen have crossed the entire table to get to the Gauls. So that leaves the great cannon, who's going to shoot in this direction. Let's tilt that cannon a little bit this way. And I will say that is, what should we do? Lucky 18 again? I don't know about 18. Let's say 14 inches. Gunpowder to 14 inches. And that is right there. Okay. And we roll our first dice. I think it might, he's going to miss the shaman, I think. Oh, we might miss everyone at this rate because that is only an extra 2 inches up. And we're going to need a big one. Here's the bounce. 4 inches. And it does not make it, although that does cross the shaman, but doesn't even make it to the Minotaurs. So that is a shaman getting hit by a cannonball, which is unfortunate, which is doubly unfortunate for the shaman because he's the closest unit, even though he's within 5 inches of another unit, he's the closest and can be targeted. So that is 1, strength 10, toughness 4. Oh wow, that is a 1. So he's survived being hit in the face with a cannonball. You don't see that every day. Okay, he's okay. Shaman is alive. Wowzers. Okay, that is the shooting done. And on our good old attack chart, I might issue a challenge. Come on, a beastman chieftain who's just been charged by an Empire general. This has to be answered for. Okay, we're going to fight a challenge. Kick on. So we better work out these guys. First, we have our Empire General, who is... Okay, 3 attacks, 2 wounds, weapon skill 5. And we have our Beastman. Come on, Chief. Come on, Chief, come on. Come on. Alright, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, and weapon skill 6. Okay, so Empire General charged. In we go. Hitting on 4s, only 1 hit. With a flail though, so he's got the +2 on the charge. So strength on the charge, so it is 4 against... It's 5 against 5, so 4s. There's a wound, there's not going to be an armor save. So the Beastman Chief goes from 3 down to 2. Beastman Chief's turn has 3 attacks, striking last with his double-handed weapons. So he's hitting on 3s though. It's 3. That is looking good. And strength 4, 5, 6. And it's wounding on 2s. That is a lot of wounds. Let's see. Heavy armor, barding, steed. That is 5, 4, 3. And that is 6. So that is 4, 6. Is 6 up saves for the Empire General. Can he do it? He cannot. He has been axed in twain by Empire General. It was nice knowing you. And that is 3 wounds, and he only had 2, so that is 1 excess wound. So that is extra on the Beastman side. So, Spearmen, there are 5 across the front. So they are going to attack. They're going to need 4s. They're going to get 4s. And only 1, no, none of them. Because it's 5s to wound the Beastman Gauze. None of them are going to make it. Champion gets an extra, and he fails. Okay, so the Beastman Gauze, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the front. Leaders out do anything. And they are hitting on 4s. And they are wounding on 3s though, because of their halberds. And they missed everything too. Okay, so they have equal ranks. They have standards, musicians. Everything is all the same. The only difference is there is 1 dead enemy general and 1 excess wound. So the Beastmen win by 2, I believe. All right, break test for the Spearmen, and that is leadership 7 because the general's not there anymore. 5, 6, 7, and it's -2, so they are off. 2 dice and only 3 inches. Dare I bother to measure that distance? Why don't we check how much the Gauls are going to fly? Yep, the Gauls managed to catch them. And that is why a large block of Empire Spearmen generally don't go charging across the field to attack a bunch of Beastmen. So this is going to mean the end of this turn, panic tests all around, as the general has been slain. But we have a psychotic wizard to deal with first, who has charged all the way across the field to stamp out some dogs. And good luck to it. Alright, level 1 wizard has all of 1 attack and a weapon skill of 3 and hope and a prayer. So that is hitting on 4s. She did it. She's only strength 6 though, so it's going to be a 5. She failed 2 wound. And that 1 dog is going to fight back, hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s and failing. Okay, so nothing gained. She's not strong enough to scare them off, so that is going to turn into a proper combat next turn. She may have regretted that one. Okay, but we have panic tests to do now because we have just lost an Empire General, and that is unfortunate. So we are going to... Handgunners have passed. Great Cannon is failed and is out of here. 6 inches. That crew, that is not going to go down well. And we have these handgunners here. They have passed, and the wizard herself has passed. Okay, very dicey. All right, that is Beastman turn now. Turn 2, and it's not looking too bad. All right, we're going to move up. Not going to make the charge this turn, but we are going to make the Minotaurs. The Gauls may as well. And that's it for the Beastman side. No shooting. We do have combat though. This poor wizard. We are going to hopefully get 2 dogs across the front, up against the wizard, and they hitting on 3s, but doing a terrible, terrible job of it. And wounding on 4s. Okay, that's enough to do it. Does she have more than 1 wound? She's only a level 1, and she does not. That was all she wrote. Okay, Empire Wizard is done, and that's the end of combat, and we have magic. So, finally this wizard might be able to get off Cloud of Flies. My phase, it's a 9 this time, which means I get 5. They do not have a wizard for dispelling anymore, which is handy, so I might just do Cloud of Flies on these handgunners, which means these poor fellas cannot shoot in their next turn. And that's the magic phase for me. And Empire turn. I suppose we may as well start with rallies, see if these guys want to come back. They do, but I think it might be a little bit late for the poor Empire crew. See, now we are missing the hero rolls for any sort of bonus moves or anything that would do anything dastardly because all those heroes are dead. So, unfortunate. Over here, we have an army order to give. So, let's see if the army's going to do plus D6 movement and charge. They're really into, well, 6 inches extra movement and charge. They, unfortunately, Cloud of Flies means that unit can't move, so that does nothing. And these handgunners do not want to charge because they've seen what's happened to the spearmen, and they are not that crazy. So, no roll on the hero chart, no roll on the wizard chart, movement chart, no thank you from the handgunners, they say. Not possible from these guys, and not possible from that unit because they just rallied. So, attack chart for the handgunners in the corner. We've got attack the nearest enemy unit. That is going to be the dogs, and we might be in half range, finally. Let's find out. No, just over half range. So, 5 handgunners on this side, needing 5 still, only 1 hit, and 1 wound. That is, 1 dog has been shot with a handgun, and that is probably not enough to save these poor fellas. This is turn 3. The beastmen are just going to wipe out this poor unit of handgunners over here. Not much we can do about it. We are going to charge that unit of handgunners. They might stand and shoot, but not while Cloud of Flies is on them. So that is upsetting for them. These guys are going to line up, ready to charge, and the Gauls are going to march right in front of that cannon. And basically, if I was playing as the Empire, I would capitulate that cannon at least, because if they recrew it, it's gone. I mean, they can't shoot it when they're recrewing it. So I think, unless these handgunners can pull off a miracle against the Minotaurs, that is going to be the game. But let's give them a shot. 2 attacks for the Minotaurs, plus 1 because of their extra hand weapon. Let's go through, and we are going to hit on 3s. It's only 3 of them, and it is going to take 3s. That is 2 handgunners down because of the strength 4. They don't get a save. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the front. For the handgunners, minus 2 that have just been slain. They are going to need 4s to hit back. They are going to need 5s to wounds. They get none of those. They have lost 2. And they have a standard though. They're down by 1. Let's see if they can beat 6. No, they are staying. Okay. It wasn't a miracle, but it wasn't the worst outcome for the handgunners. Empire turn 4. I mean, one of these things might be amazing. It might resurrect something. I guess army orders 4. Steady on. No effect. It's not the best roll. Not the roll that they needed this turn of all turns. No hero chart. No wizard chart. Movement chart. We can try the cannon crew. Poor fellas. Wheel or order. So they are not keen to get any closer to those Gauls. And the handgunners are going to forego their movement chart and roll on their attack chart instead. And they are going to attack the nearest enemy unit, which is the dogs. 5 shots. This time it is 4s to hit, because they are in range and haven't moved. And it's going to be... oh, ouch. Actually, that is more than half of the dogs. That is a sudden potential panic. But unfortunately for them, the dogs are made of sterner stuff. All right, I think we might call the game there. It is open season over here for the Minotaurs. This cannon crew is not going to stand up against Gauls and a Beastman Chief. And over here, they might get rid of those dogs, but then they've still got the rest of the Beastman army to take care of. So that's going to be where we call the game. That is Fields of Fate. We saw some of the free successes for Magic. I hope you found that was a little bit smoother than last time. And they got some free successes on the hero charts with the movement and whatnot. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you're keen to get out your armies, even if you don't have an opponent, and start gaming.